favor. This is one more, please. That say it from exactly. literally exactly. Say it with your chest. That's a good way to put it. So how you doing, man? How's everything?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. First time doing something like this.
Dude, what do you, man? It's we're on a high. I know we're about to go in this Hunger Games mode in Los Verdes and La Murga. The reason why is there's about a good amount of tickets a limited amount of tickets, that are sold. And so far, there's more people that already are in the channel that are going to go to LA than the allotted amount. So I wish everyone the good luck, except for you. Coque, how you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm feeling great. I'm happy to be here. Another beautiful day in Austin, Texas, after that huge Western Semi-Conference final win. And we got a special guest here to continue our fan analysis segment. Kevin.
Yeah, man. Before getting started, welcome to Otra, por favor.
Otra, por favor.
Another episode where we want to bring the fans into into our space so they can share their points of view about the game, points of view about how do they feel and their impressions of the games in general, especially as we're in playoffs right now. This type of format is going to be going on from here through the World Cup, and we'll probably take a break during the off season for Austin FC and come back in the 2023 season. No, 2023. I did say it right. I thought I said 2022, and it's like 2023.
Yeah.
And then one thing that we want to do is just have everybody come in and then share their ideas. Pretty much highlight unique voices of football in our community. And one thing that we want to do is we don't want it just to be us talking by ourselves. We want this to be a space where people can come and discuss. And one thing that I appreciate, Kevin, is that you came and you're like, hey, dude, we're gonna hop in the mic. So I'd be like, you know what? Today's a perfect day, and thank you for agreeing to come.
Oh yeah, man. No, like I said, thank you for having me. I've always wanted to do something like this, so thank you for again letting me be here and doing this.
For sure, man. Like Richard was saying, the fan segment is just meant to give fresh takes and perspectives to the game, but also just share some of those community experiences that are unique to you and to the community out there. So the vision is just to share and kind of grow the love of the game with our gente, with our community. So welcome, Kevin. I can't wait to get your perspective of what was a thrilling weekend with Austin FC, man.
Yeah, man, it was nerve-wracking, honestly, if I'm being honest. From that morning, Sunday morning, I got up. I'm an Arsenal fan.
Of course.
Gooner.
The Gooner?
Yeah.
And Otro.
Otro,
Hey, that's a huge community out here, man. You got Ram Sizzle, you got Ernie, Alfred. We can name them. We could probably do a whole episode on Arsenal. Right now, they're at the top right now. But so take us through your day. You were taking us through your day. So you started with the Arsenal.
Yeah, started with Arsenal, early game, 8 a.m. And they tied, unfortunately. And I was like, well, we're off to a great start, I guess.
Just a little rough patch.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I'll shake that off and just, put that behind me and try to focus.
What did you have for breakfast?
I had pancakes and bacon.
Okay. That's the breakfast of champions.
Yeah.
So
and it was the exact same breakfast I had the weekend before. So I was trying to I'm not superstitious.
You started this little trend of this little good luck trend.
Okay. I'm a huge The Office fan. So like Michael Scott says, I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. So I try to do everything the same way. Like I said, same breakfast. I took a shower. I shaved. And wore the same clothes. No joke. Same clothes.
Wow.
Everything. Underwear, socks, just everything the same. Because I was like, I don't want us to lose to Frisco. Like, we cannot lose to Frisco.
Did you, did you at least watch it or just
Oh, no,
say?
yeah, no.
Okay,
I watched it.
Okay.
No. No, I watched it. Although some people did tell me you probably shouldn't watch it. I was like, no. Being in the supporter section,
it gets messy.
Oh, you're talking about wash the shirt,
like
wash
the whole outfit. Yeah.
Some people didn't wash their outfit
that we know of.
Holy shit!
Quesadilla might be one of them.
Yeah.
So he's a little stitious, but those people are superstitious for damn sure.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Before we get into the whole, aspect, the whole talk of Austin FC and this great, awesome victory that we got, let's get to know more about Kevin shortly. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from the Valley, Pharr, Texas, 956.
Hey.
But I grew up in Austin. We moved here about 2004 or so. I was about 8 years old. I'm 26 now. And yeah, I call Austin my home. I love Austin. I mean, especially now that we have a soccer team, like I hope to stay here, if possible.
So make roots. This is where your roots lie.
Yeah, for sure.
And how did you get involved, like in football? When was the last your experience, watching a game or going to a game?
Honestly, I grew up watching soccer. My whole family, we're all huge soccer fans. I mean, my parents, my family, they're from Monterrey originally. So we're all Rayados or Tigres family. It's a little divided. But I'm a huge Rayados fan as well. I mean, I have them tatted, on me. So
what part?
When are you going to get that Austin FC tatted, though?
Can you show it? Like, where's that? Or is it a private place?
No, it's right here.
Oh,
right
nice.
There. Yeah.
Nice,
so it's
nice.
easily...
Hey, Richie,
it's visible.
I know what you want to do to that arm, man. This is our guest of honor, so you got to hold back. All right.
The reason
aguanta.
Okay. Later.
So soccer's pretty much been part of my life since I can remember. I mean, there's pictures of me when I was a toddler with the ball. But honestly, the first time I remember watching a game live was Rayados, I want to say in 2012, they came to play a friendly in San Antonio. And that was the first time I had ever been.
At the Alamo Dome?
No, not the Alamo Dome. It was at so odd. It was at a high school football stadium. Yeah, it was so odd.
They have the same in when they go, like say when America would play the Interliga, they would play like in Cal State Fullerton. Yeah. It's like small ass stadium.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's weird how that works because you think they would like teams like Monterrey, teams like America would sell out wherever they go, especially here in Texas. But that's cool, man. So talk to us about like what that first experience was you like for watching like live football.
Yeah, so I was nervous, even though it was just a friendly, because again, it was my first time going to a professional game, and we drove down there. My uncle. And my cousins and my brother. And when we got there, their supporters group, La Adicción, was there. And they were just, bombos, everything. They were just going at it. And I was like, oh, man. I was astonished by the atmosphere. Even though it was just this small, high school football stadium, they were having a party in the stands. And then we got to our seats, and it was so far away. Or I can remember it being so like from the stands to the field. And you supposedly had assigned seats, but everybody was kind of So I remember my uncle was like, "Oh, these are our seats," and there was like a whole row of people sitting there, and they were kind of like, "We got here, like ni modo." And so then we were like, "Yeah, whatever." But we had fun. It was a ton of fun. I think they ended up winning, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it was a really fun experience for my first time. And then I was like, oh, I need to, watch them again.
¿Hubieron madrazos?
Nah. I don't even remember who they played, honestly. But yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
And that's good. So now you moved to Austin, and then we have Austin FC. When did you first start getting involved with Los Verdes and especially the pickup? Because I know that's something that you go pretty often.
Yeah, so when I found out that we were getting a team here, I was so excited. I was like, finally, professional team, a team we can call our own here in our city. And I joined Anthem, first of all. I want to put that out there. I was in Anthem first. And I went to a few of their watch parties, but I didn't really talk to anybody. Nobody really came to interact. So then I remember going to my first game against Columbus. That was my first game of last year. And I went there and I saw these, like I said, Los Verdes, or, down in the supporter section. And I was like, I thought that was Austin Anthem, honestly, if I'm being honest. I was like, oh, yeah, Los Verdes. I mean, our jerseys are Verdes,
Right.
So then I get home that night and I start doing research and I looked up, Los Verdes, and it was totally different.
Y viste la pinche cara de Rigo ahí.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, really, like Rigo right there. And I was like, hey, I saw that guy at the stadium. What's funny is that I had met Rigo way before there was even talks about having a team here at one of the stores that he manages.
And he manages Soccer Corner.
Yeah. So you met Rigo there before, and then you see him as like one of the faces or the face of Los Verdes.
Yeah, and I was like, I know that guy. I don't think he remembered me, but I remembered him, and like I just kept doing research, and I was like, oh man, this looks fun. Like the pictures on social media and stuff, I was like, this looks really fun. I want to be part of this
for sure.
And so I remember scrolling through the website and it's saying, if you want to join, pay the fee, and I paid, and
like $35.
Yeah, and I thought it was gonna be similar to like what I had experienced with them. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, but then no, totally different. They have the Slack. That's how we keep in touch. And then I just kind of was exploring through Slack, and I found the pickup channel, and it had been a while since I had played soccer after high school. When I graduated high school, I kind of just let go. I was just watching soccer, but I wasn't really playing it. So then I thought this was a good opportunity to, get back out there.
What was that period of inactivity? How long was that?
So I graduated high school in 2014, and I played briefly in like 2015, and then I stopped. So from like 2016 all the way to 2021.
Oh, damn. So a good 5 years.
Not playing. Yeah. I'm not playing. Like I would kick the ball around and stuff.
But it's different, right?
It's different, yeah. So I remember going to one of my first pickup sessions, which was at Soccer Park, and Rico was there. Shout out to Rico. And I get there, and he was like, hey, what's up? What's your name? He was very welcoming.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's my first time here. And he was like, well, can you play keeper? And I was like, yeah, that's actually my position. I'm a goalkeeper. And I was like,
damn.
Yeah, I can play keeper.
Kevin the keeper.
Yeah, and then I guess, and I get in there, and, I start doing all these saves, and everybody was like, oh, my God, like, how come you haven't been coming out? I was like, I just joined LV not too long ago. And then they asked me if I was on the, the LV team for the Liga Verde, but tryouts had already gone by, and I was like, no, I didn't go to the tryouts. Like,
oh, damn, there was tryouts and everything?
Yeah, for Liga Verde, because of the amount of people, there's tryouts.
Oh, shit, man. But this is, like, intense.
But next year, I might be on La Murgas team. They asked me, so.
Badass.
I'll be the water boy, pero el de las cheves, pero something is something.
That's cool, man. No, pickup soccer is wonderful, man. If I'll never forget being kind of new to Austin. I'd been here for a few years, going to UT, but I hadn't found a good group to play with. I would just play randomly at different spots, and it was on my bike ride home where I ran into the group of guys that I still play with now, the Anarchist Soccer. And this group has been playing for, I don't know, plus 10 years plus.
I think like 2002.
Shit.
For a while.
There you go. And I just figured out what times they play, and I joined, and I met David, I met Richie off the field, and then we somehow came back on. Many of our former guests we've met there. Yeah. But it's just cool to hear you get back into the game in an active way, not just a passive way.
Yeah, I mean, I admit I didn't realize how much I had missed it, and then I remember meeting Gabby at one of the pickups.
La Presi.
Yeah, La Presi, and one day randomly, I guess the keeper that they had for Liga Verde last season either got injured or something happened, and she hit me up, and she was like, hey, can you play keeper for us? And I said, yeah, sure. And I thought it was just pickup. I didn't really know much. And then I go there, and I was like, oh, no, this is, like, serious, And so then we play, and I had a pretty good game, and I didn't really talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to be more like quiet and kind of just hang out, kind of, try to get a vibe of things. And they were like, "Oh, what's your name?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm Kevin. You know, I'm in LV." And they're like, "Are you in LV?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't really participate in things." So, but it's different now this year. Now that I know more people, I'm more. I mean, I made the team again this season for Liga Verde. Sadly, I got injured over the summer. I broke my wrist getting ready for the Y'all Means All tournament, which is another tournament that Austin FC put together in this over the summer. I got injured, broke my wrist, so I was out. I've been out since then. I just recently got cleared last week to start playing again. So I've missed all of Liga Verde, but I've been there supporting the team on the sidelines.
Yeah, dude. I met you because I saw I'm in the channel of Pickup Coque. Hopefully one day we can have you there.
I just keep hearing about it.
But
no invite.
In order to be part of it, I think that you should join Los Verdes. $35 a year, man. That's all you need.
I got you.
But you know what? There's some perks that it is worth it. The banter also, you get to know where the pickups are at, and then whenever the tickets go on sale for the supporter sections, you actually get to buy it at face value, so which is cool. But yeah, I met Kevin. I think it was one of those pickups where you came in with your cast, but everybody talked about Kevin when it happened, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going, man?" And then you were like, "Man, it had just recently happened," but you felt pretty. I could tell you wanted to play, but you also felt pretty cool, and you were just there to hang out, which is good. I think that's one thing that I the fact that when I met you is that fact that you were just there to hang out with your friends, which is what we sometimes got to do.
Yeah, I mean, I still wanted to stay involved with the pickups and, like I said, with the team and stuff. So whether it be on the sidelines, just cheering them on, trash talking them, or whatever, I'm glad they let me, still be part of that.
Nice.
That's cool. I know. Wish you luck on your recovery of your wrist, man. I had no idea, but it's cool to hear from the perspective of a goalkeeper. I've always thought of goalkeepers being kind of on the crazier side, on the louder side. So kind of hearing you and what you seem as kind of more, soft-spoken dude, and kind of reserved. To know that you're a goalkeeper, so do you flip a switch when you play goalkeeper? Or what's the deal?
Yeah, no, I'm a totally different person when I'm on the field. I try not to yell. I feel like there's some keepers that just yell.
Over yell. It's too much. It loses meaning, right?
I only yell when I need to. If I see the team is out of position, or I want them to switch the play or something.
For example, Quesadilla.
Yeah, for example, Quesadilla. If I want them to make the run and or something. But yeah, no, I love being a goalkeeper. And yeah, we're a little crazy, with the dives.
You have to, because you're always in the face of danger. You got to be the bravest person.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was 6 years old when I picked the position. I wanted to be a striker, and my uncle, who taught me how to play, shout out to him. He was like, "No, tú eres portero. No, es que yo quiero meter goles."
Tú eres Jorge Campos.
Y yo, yo no quería. Yo le decía, no, yo quiero ser delantero. Es que los porteros, they don't get attention.
Right.
And he was like, pero es que tú no corres, no te gusta correr. And it's true, I don't. I really don't. I don't mind running around, in our area, the box for the goalkeeper.
Right.
But, yeah, on the field, no. If I do play on the field, I'll play up top. But I'll just poach. I'll just be up there waiting for the ball.
Yeah,
waiting for waiting for a tap in.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then since like I said, 6 years old, I was out there just diving at people's feet, and I have had numerous injuries, just from being a goalkeeper.
What's been one of the gnarliest one?
Probably my wrist, honestly.
Oh, really? Because the recent one.
Yeah, the recent one. Because it's my second time breaking my wrist.
Oh, shit.
But the specific bone that I broke takes 6 to 12 weeks to heal. And it took me 12 weeks to heal. Wow. I thought I was going to be quick, 6 weeks, but it's true what they say. Once you get older,
the recovery time changes.
It changes. So, yeah, I think this one, it was just, you don't realize how much you need your hands just for
life.
Yeah. Especially, it was my left hand. I'm right hand, very right-handed.
Yeah.
But would catch myself trying to do things with my left.
Oh,
and
man,
so
that's
yeah,
tough.
and it sucked. Like when I came out of my cast, just trying to grab things, it's just even a pen.
Yeah,
So
or it was just
hard to-
awkward and
yeah, it was
strange.
awkward,
That's
yeah.
tough, man.
So I've been doing therapy, you know, trying to, you know, get my strength back, and
Right.
so I can get back out there and start playing again.
For sure, man. I'm sure your teammates in the field can't wait to see you back. But kind of switching gears a little bit, man. Like you, as from the perspective of a keeper, what's it been like to see someone like Brad Stuver and his performances as of late compared to like some of his performances earlier in the first
Yeah.
season? You know?
Oh man, I mean, there's some times where I can, you know, I can relate to him, and because we play the same position.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm not as good.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
him.
The calibers.
Yeah, but I can give my input when like, oh, he did. When people are like, oh, why did he do this? Why did he do that? I'm like, oh, he did this
Right.
because, you know, I don't know, he was the last man back there or
Mhm,
something like that. But man, Brad's been great. He's
Yeah.
a great goalkeeper. I actually met him at the Y'all Means All tournament.
Oh, tight.
over the summer.
He's
Yeah.
a
was
cool
it
guy
like?
to meet, man.
He's super humble.
Yeah.
He was talking to me like if he knew me from
Right, right.
like years. You know, I just kind of casually sat down next to him while he was watching the games, and I was like, "Are some good teams out here?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, have a seat. Yeah, what's up? What's your name?" And we just kind of started talking, and
That's always great to hear, man. It's
Yeah.
always very kind of unexpected for
Yeah.
someone like, you know, professional player to have that type of humility. But that's always
Yeah.
dope, especially our team.
yeah, and yeah, I'm just glad we have somebody like Stuver in goal, who we all thought, or when they first acquired him, you know, he was supposed to be a backup.
Backup. Yeah, everybody thought Tarbo. I had you know my list. Tarbo was gonna be the starting goalie, but then I saw Stuber and I was like, he's like another Francois Meme, but you know with the different shorter hair.
For sure,
He
yeah.
But
always
he-
has like the most perfect hair
He has
at all times.
Yeah, all the
No
times.
hair is always at a position.
all the time, dude. And then he's just like the way he just you know he covers the area,
Oh,
area de portero.
Yeah.
He does it pretty good. I mean, there's some stuff that has happened, of course, but he's been great. Like you know,
Yeah. One thing I do got to say about Brad, I wish he was more vocal. Back there.
Yeah.
He is a very quiet keeper, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a lot of keepers like that are
Right,
quiet, you
right.
know, that they don't need to. But there has been times when I'm like, oh, he should have told, you know,
Cascante to
Cascante, yeah.
clear
Hey,
or something. But no,
there
he's
he
very,
is.
very
Maybe he
quiet.
said it, but not loud enough.
Yeah,
And
or
it's like,
something.
we're not there, right?
Yeah, and I never see him. One thing that a lot of keepers do, and including myself, is after we make like a great save, it's usually like
You react.
we react, we get
Yeah.
up, get up, and we start yelling at our defense. And Brad doesn't do that. He just kind of pulls a save, and then
He's just like-
all right.
He's
Yeah,
pretty-
claps and
he's-
just
he's
dusts
He's pretty
himself.
robotic, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when he pulled that save against RSL, not I think it was like the third penalty or something.
Mhm.
He saved it, or no, when RSL missed the final penalty that basically we won after that. He saved, like, it went over the bar and he turned around. He looked at the south section and he was just like taking it all in.
So,
and
here's-
then he turns around like right when his team is like screaming and
Yeah.
running at him. It's like that's like slow motion movie. Shit's exploding everywhere.
Yeah.
You're just like
Yeah,
slow
he's just
motion.
like
Like,
that.
that's
Man,
crazy.
there's one thing like say like that I've seen from him. It's just throughout the game, whenever throughout the season, whenever he gets scored, he always looks at the crowd and he's kind of like,
Yeah,
he has like that crap. But whenever we're doing good, he does the same thing. He looks at the crowd and he applauds and he goes like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
oh, like so. That's one thing. Like he's very connected and he knows like we're behind him. And one thing he said, whenever I get a chance to talk to him and interview him, it was just him saying, if there's one thing that I take was just the fact that last season the supporters had our back and they didn't stop. So this season we have to do the best to have their back in the field. And you can see it from after he saved that penalty, he turned to the crowd and he gave him like that.
yeah.
We're here.
Yeah, it's
So-
almost like he knew. Like one thing I tweeted this. Was it last week when they put out the videos that the media team puts out for
Mhm.
like the game,
The hype
and the
videos?
hype
Yeah, yeah.
videos, yeah. And I tweeted and I said, "La suerte del campeón está de nuestro lado."
Hell
And that's
yeah.
what kind of he
With-
embodied
yeah.
when he did
For
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Tiene algo que I think we have several things in this team. You know, we have a player that's going for MVP, the best assister in the league, and you know, el portero que necesitas para ganar un campeonato.
Yeah, those three things, and I would also add Josh Wolf and his team.
It's already been implemented.
It's like coaching staff or whatever.
Yeah.
I do want to say I wanted him gone.
Everybody, I think it's a valid reason.
Yeah.
I think it's a like, say, whenever you were supporting him or not, I think it's a valid feeling.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know, was going through some shit.
I think a lot of it too, I compared it to, because I grew up watching, and I still watch Liga MX.
Yeah.
Right.
So I compared it a lot to that. I would always say, like, if he was in Mexico, he would have been fired third or fifth game, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's a different league.
It's a different league, know. Like that situation was putting Austin FC and MLS into this like area where it doesn't necessarily fit. It's not the same. So, but yeah, like a lot of people were feeling Wolf out season 1, but
right.
I'm glad that they stuck around. They gave him that confidence, and he has proven himself to be a high caliber coach and someone that can put a system into players and that can rally them, and the players believe in him, and now the city believes in him. So cool to see.
He's built some legacy in this team. The way he had in mind what he wanted to do last year, it didn't really go well, but you can see glimpses of it. And this year, especially the game that we're going to talk about shortly, it was Wolves' idea. Like, you can just tell it was Wolves' tactics. From the beginning to end. It was great. And also the one thing is he's getting more involved in the games as you know, especially the game more intense. He's not a coach that sits back and just does this. Like, you see him, you know, do a lot more interaction with the el asistente, do interaction with you know, his players.
Yeah.
Whenever they said that he scored Drusi scored a second goal, he celebrated like I've never seen him just so hyped up, and him and his team just like bonding together and celebrating the way you should. I mean, you literally just scored a goal to make it to the next round. I was, you know, fortunate enough to go to Alicia's birthday on Saturday, and some of the players were there, so it was cool because in there they were saying hi to everyone that, you know, approached to them, and they were being kind. But nothing that helped out was just the fact that they were relaxed. They were having fun. They weren't, you know, in Mexico, and I think Jorge made a point, and I don't think we have this in the notes, is in Mexico, las concentraciones for a playoff is like two days.
Yeah, that's what threw me off here. And I thought that's what it was going to be, and it wasn't. So when I was like, why are the players, you know, out and about? Like, no, they should be concentrados.
Yeah.
We have a big game ahead of us. But no, I mean, I guess it didn't affect them.
Man, honestly, I think that has a lot to do with the cultural makeup of our team.
Yeah.
Ponle, this was Bundesliga, where you got that German mentality, or at least everyone's kind of buying into that type of culture. Yeah, concentrate. You're not going anywhere. You're not going out during the weekend. But here we have a team of many different backgrounds, a large majority of Latinos. So they prefer some kind of familial, celebratory time to kind of ease into a playoff. So that's cool. That's cool that you got to see that,
dude. And there's one thing that I saw is the fact that you saw the people that helped put together the Tifos, leaving the Tifo, you know, taking a break from that and coming to the party. You know, family like that, or from other players coming in as well. And then just anybody that's like part of the community there, like being there and also just celebrating, dancing with Alicia. I think the players saw that and they were like, okay, there's something special here. Like, it's not just like the plástico, like it's real. And you can just see it because even after the game, like the last game against RSO, they were a little more reserved. They celebrated and they were, you know, they went back to the locker room and esas se quedaron más tiempo. And they weren't doing that for a while, which is something that I think that's gonna help out as we go and, you know, we play the next game. Right. So
I don't think anybody doubts the love between team, fans, and everybody that forms part of that bond, right? But what people are doubting, not our people, but from the outside at least, it seems to be how far Austin FC has gotten in the season.
Oh shit! So here it is. We made the best, man. Good luck to. How do you say Hunger Games?
May the odds be forever in your favor.
Yeah, so hopefully they're in my favor and not your favor.
Oh, we'll see about that. We'll see who has the quick fingers.
I know, right? So yeah, we're actually gonna take a break because we're about to go into Hunger Game mode. And this might be a shit show. One of us might be sitting in this chair after this. One of us might be happy. One of us might be sad. One of us might have a black eye, but
I'll make sure both of y'all are happy. I'll make sure y'all keep it civil over here. Don't worry.
let me borrow your credit card and we'll for sure be happier.
I got you, Richie. Just charge to the game.
Charge to the game. Charge it to the account. So we'll be back and we'll come back with the results.
All right.
So we are back.
Little tension in the Hyperware studios over here.
I have never felt. I think even whenever we've had like technical difficulties with Zoom, I've never felt like that tension.
Yeah.
Luckily,
So
we're still friends.
Tell us a little bit about what just happened, Richie. Let the people know what's going on.
So we ended up pretty much there was an allotted amount of tickets that were sold, and one thing that they ended up doing is just pretty much, first come first served, which is fair, and you have to log in at a certain time. But this tickets sell like faster than ACL tickets. I bought ACL tickets. I bought Lollapalooza tickets, but I've never experienced something like this. The amount that we had, allotted, gone in 5 minutes. I was able to have the tickets on my card, and It just
slipped. They just slipped
out of my hand. Card. Like I had it here, and then it just like.
Yeah. There's always something. Technology's always gonna.
So that was the unfortunate. That was the bad news. The good news. What was the good news? Our boy Kevin over here.
I was able to acquire mine. Sorry, Richie.
Hey, Kevin secured. He secured the bag. He got his tickets, but I'm just gonna put it out there. Good vibes to my man Richie. Someone's gonna come through for him. Either someone's gonna come with the pass, or he's gonna get that press pass. I'm also like, you know what? I'm back. I live life on the edge, so I feel like this is me just living on the edge. Like this is like it's anything that's easy for me. It's boring, but I like this. Es que te gustan las tóxicas. No disrespect to knock. No disrespect to knock. No disrespect.
Yeah, I just like I'm a masochist by nature. I've learned to be a masochist by nature. I think as a DACA recipient, you only get this much, so te la tienes que chingar.
Yeah.
But it's all right though. Hey, you know what? It's gonna happen. It's gonna come through. Regardless of what we're to do, I rented a car and I told the mood guy, if you guys want to do a quick set outside of the stadium, we're gonna do it. Of course, during the game we can't bring in instruments, but I'm open to store instruments in my car. So
I thought you guys said something else.
See, I could be on the edge, but you're with a dirty mind. And Madison likes that.
And so I think it's a good segue to go into a little bit of the pre-match form and kind of talk about this result against Frisco. What do y'all think?
Man, let's actually let's go into how everything started. For me, I was talking to Coca earlier. The gems that social media was dropping, whether it was Austin FC or La Murga, that hyped up people. I mean, those videos that Austin FC put out, especially the one where the voices of Leslie Reinaga was on it, which was pretty cool. And then the other, video that Duke did where they go in and they have Sean just messing and putting the shredder, like putting a printout of the FC Dallas, FC Frisco in a shredder. That kind of because everybody knows like, oh, this is some banter right here. So you get it from the team, for the competitive part. We also get it from the fans. That and then another thing that happened and just kept going on is just like the release of the documentary. Some people got to watch it and see it. How that just started just giving people more and more, like feeding them to come in ready for Sunday. And one thing that everybody knew that the team didn't know is that the sneak hopefully we don't get in trouble by saying this, but there was a pretty much a deal going on before the game. About 400 bags of confetti were snuck into the supporter section.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. I just before the march, people were coming up to us and being like, "Hey, put this in, hide this." Confetti. Almost felt like I was drug smuggling, honestly, and just stuffing them in my pants. And
some had more practice than others.
Yeah, for sure. I saw some people.
You want me to stick this way?
Yeah,
I got you, bro.
Yeah, and then just like all over, and then like, does this look funky? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it looks like you have like a tumor or something on your side, but whatever.
Just put it in the crotch. Just enhance the crotch.
But yeah, we managed to get him in. So.
Hell yeah, confetti, tifo, everything looked amazing, dude.
There was one of our friends' mom. She actually snuck it in her bra. There were some guys putting it in their, inside their drums. Nobody noticed. I'm surprised. Like they didn't, really check on anyone. They just let everybody go through because there were so many people like trying to get in the supporter.
I realized I thought being a rivalry game, especially in the playoffs, that security would be a little bit more tough.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't really check because I always go in with my little I like to call it my merce. They didn't even check that. Normally they check it and I like had it. I unzipped it and I put it there and. The guy was just like, "No, you can go on through." I was like,
"It's pretty chill."
Okay, I was
man.
Like,
"Trust."
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, man,
that's dope.
And even like some people went in and I guess they saw the alarm go on and they were like, "I just have my keys and my wallet." They're like, "I just go ahead and go through."
Yeah, they were like I said, very lenient. They were just like, "Yeah, go on through."
And there was like before any of this, there was another march that we did from Hop Squad. In the march, the banner had "Keep Doubting Us." That was like a statement that that I think whenever we went through that drought of losing games, it felt like, man, are we sure we're actually starting to doubt ourselves? But now that we beat RSL, it's kind of like, okay, you gotta bring that keep doubting us, and that became a thing for this game. That it was good. A couple of sets before we go in the stadium, and we get in the stadium. There's a line, and I would say 2 hours, like an hour and 30 minutes before the game, the supporter sections was already like packed.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that we also had is the Tifo of the Austin FC logo that pretty much extended from the top all the way to the bottom. So that covered a good maybe like 2/3 of the benches.
Yeah, I believe so. I think pretty much all of 103, which is where I'm usually at in the supporter section.
It looked incredible, man. I've seen footage of it. I've seen some aerial footage of like what it looked like, the rollout. Everything was perfect. But I think what most impresses me is like how quickly it was done. All the types of coordination that it took to make that. I don't know if you can speak to it, Kevin or Richie, to that.
Well, Edward, Stephanie's husband, he showed me like what it was gonna look like say without anyone in there, and it looked like it was gonna take a good amount of space. And like, oh, it's gonna be badass. Where it was gonna be placed, like Rigo was on top of that shit. From the moment that we got there, he was already like moving around because there was also like, what do you call it? Like linears that went from the top of the stands all the way to the bottom. Those were there as well. The plan was, and it worked out perfect, is to start pulling everything out after the second strofa. I don't know how to say it in English. So
second strophe
of the national anthem.
Oh, okay.
So then that as soon as she said "For the free,"
a ver. Yeah.
And then that pause, and then
the
home of the brave, and that shit slowly just started coming out like beautifully.
Hell yeah.
And then I was in a part where you have to hide and just go like this with the Tifo.
Yeah, you just gotta shake it.
So Richie and I were down
or
there.
like this,
shaking it.
Yeah.
So one thing, like really quick, I got to share the game with Kevin and with Mago, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was my first time being there in that section.
The photos looked amazing, dude. I saw the screen cap you sent me of the live broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
You were there with your with all the beauty out.
Como señor de gimnasio de parque.
También.
But dude, it was magical. One thing that I did enjoy is just the atmosphere before the game. 1 minute long heartbeat. We have never done it. We actually ended up holding the broadcast for ESPN, and they had to take a break and just enjoy that moment.
Yeah.
That's another cool thing that happened. How did you feel in that particular moment?
Honestly, it's like almost time just stood still, and even though we were loud, at the same time it was just kind of like almost like tunnel vision. I don't know if there's a word for like when it just kind of all just comes to, and then all of a sudden, I had my eyes closed. I'm not much of a believer or prayer, but during that time I was praying a little bit.
Sí. ¿A quién le estabas rezando?
Al que sea. You know what's funny though is that I did tweet. I said, "Hola Dios, soy yo de nuevo. Solamente te pido que Austin FC le den su madre a Frisco."
Es todo.
So,
Damn, dude. Hey,
can you send a screenshot of that one? I would like to have that, graphic.
That's a proven verification.
And
that
I do want to.
God reads Twitter.
Yeah, and I did in my tweet. I did add also, "Y que Rayados remonte contra Pachuca." Obviously, that one didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
But he answered this one, and the other prayer. I guess he just wanted Austin FC to have it more.
Hell yeah.
But
dude.
I'll take it. And then after that, it just kind of all right, game time, and I was nervous. And then the long heartbeat was making it more like anxious for me. And I was like, I just want this, As much as I love the heartbeat, I was like, I just want this to start. Like,
yeah, you wanted the ball to roll,
yeah.
just to see the game,
and
see
then,
the game through.
Yeah, once I hear, the instruments going off, and then the Tifo coming down, that's when I was like, all right.
You can kind of breathe a little bit after that.
Because I was, my nerves were through the roof.
That's wonderful, man. I mean, I think obviously Austin FC has provided that spectacle for us, that those wonderful results and like the craziness of a game, but the fans and the supporters groups, like everything, all the environment that they make that's been the show on display for national audiences. And I think everybody from outside of Austin looking in, they can't help but admire it and give pretty high praise to it. Or we also got some haters out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what comes with greatness. And that big props to Los Verdes and all the supporters groups for what La Murga for all the work that they do to create that environment.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I just want to put it out there that I saw on Twitter and social media that we got paid to do this stuff and that the club paid for that. No, nobody paid. These are volunteers.
Exactly.
Like, we're all volunteers here.
Setting the record straight.
Yeah,
man.
we take
volunteers, man.
We take time out of our, busy days, busy schedules to, do these Tifos and just anything, give back to the community in however way we can and to the team. So, yeah, none of that was paid for.
That's love.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
love.
Sorry, I have to reply to a message. So things are on the work, but it's all good. But I did hear to everything what you guys were saying. It was one of those things that I did see the tweet, and I think and I did. The same guys also would say something similar to what Joe has done, to what Luis have done. That it's a screen print, or it's the team paid for it. It was a bullshit, take from people to say. Like for me, every time I see something cool that someone created, I'm gonna admire it. If Houston does something with whatever resources they got, that's good for them. If Frisco does something, good for them. LA does something, good for them. Like that aspect is, you can't, just you got. I mean, the banter's there and everything, but it's just one of those things that you also have to appreciate when things are good. Some people have shitty lives, and unfortunately, they can't appreciate that type of stuff.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. Like, just learn to appreciate it. It's the same thing with like the Ronaldo and Messi fanboys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like
it can get real ugly. It can get real ugly, real intense, especially on social media.
And I'm just like, the they're two of the greatest players that we were fortunate enough to watch them play. Like, just be grateful. Like, yeah, I get it. They, one of them played for Barcelona, the other one for Madrid, but like, just learn to appreciate them because, like, I know not only did we grow up, watching them, but we also grew up watching Ronaldinho, of course, Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo as well. The OG. Yeah. Yes. These other players, and that sadly, these younger generations, they only got, Ronaldo and Messi. So I don't know. I guess it's different. Like, we know how to appreciate them, and then these other people, or I don't know. I don't know if I'm using the correct word.
No, I get what you're saying. I mean, it's a generational thing. Yeah. And just like we were starting to watch the game with Ronaldo and Ronaldinho, our uncles and our fathers and grandparents, like, they watch Maradona, they watch these other players, Hugo Sanchez. So every generation has their idols, and I think with maturity it comes appreciation. And kind of going back to what we were talking about like some of the shit that was said on social media in regards to, oh, this is stage or this is paid and blah blah blah. Yeah. If you don't get it, if you don't understand it, and if you can't appreciate it,
there's something wrong with you.
No, it wasn't meant for you. Yeah, like, you're not the audience.
Yeah.
So,
it's one of those. At the end of the day, like, one of my friends always told me, when you're doing something right, someone's gonna hate.
Right. Yeah.
That's it's true. We're doing something right. Your attention always brings good and bad. I mean, when you're doing something good, you're gonna get attention from good and people that that would give you props, and also people that don't. Which it's all part of the game. The pre-match forum before the game, we beat RSL and ended up going to extra time,
penalty kicks,
and then penalty kicks. But the way we went into overtime was a penalty called in our favor right almost before the game was over. That shit.
Moments of the game.
How were you feeling as we were in the game, and what was going through your mind? Whenever, like, say for example, it was minute 90 and still nothing.
Honestly, I mean, I kept a little bit of hope. What's the saying? La esperanza muere al último.
Yeah.
Because one thing I know is that the teams that I support, they always leave things to the last minute. Rayados, Arsenal. So I was like, something's going to happen. I don't know what, but something's going to happen. And, I mean, fortunately for us, we got the PK right there at the end. And then I was like, I don't know why the thought that what if he misses it?
Yeah.
But, Drusi never misses. So I think it's just all these, you always think the worst at, like, in these kind of situations.
It's our way of kind of helping prepare ourselves for defeat, for doom, for like that drop. But I mean, we got Drusi on our team, man.
Yeah, right.
He's taking a PK. Like, anybody would love to be in that situation. You know what I mean?
Whenever you see him do the little, like, stand,
that guy has nerves of steel, man.
He's like,
he does. And what's crazy is that we're the same age. We 26? Share the same birthday.
Oh,
February
really?
9th, 1996.
Oh, you're February?
Yeah,
February 9th? I'm February 5th, bro.
Yeah,
hey.
Aquarius.
February babies over
Los
here.
Verdes. What's the sign? The zodiac sign?
I believe it's Aquarius.
Yeah, Aquarius.
I don't know what it means, but people, every time I'm like, oh, I'm an Aquarius, like, that explains everything.
Yeah, same. I'm just like,
well, I'm a Cancer, so it's water. We get along, right? I assume.
I don't know. Pregúntale a Walter, güey.
Pregúntale a Walter.
Hey, recipes.
Quiero mucho. So that happened, and how now from that, as we went and we went on PKs, what was something that you guys, like, how confident you felt going into this game right before kickoff? I mean, because, before, like, say, Saturday night, before the march, what was your confidence level in the team? Because I feel like the emotion, everybody felt like 100% once we got to the march, and then from the march to the stadium, everybody was pumped. But before that, like, were you confident, like, we will pull this off, or?
I want to, if I'm being honest, no. But obviously on the outside, I was like, yeah, we're going to win. But on the inside, I was like, I don't know. We didn't finish the season strong. We started out strong, but then, like I said, we didn't finish it.
Yeah.
We didn't finish how we would have wanted. And so then, RSL was, I think they were coming off of like a hot streak, if I'm correct. I mean, they managed to sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or maybe I don't know if they, but regardless, these lower seeded teams were just motivated and coming in ready to to play, and then we go so the march was great and all that. It definitely helped in calming the nerves down and getting me pumped, but it's, again, that voice inside my head was like, I don't know.
No llores, Coque. I know. Me too. Trust me. So I feel the same way.
So beautiful.
I'm happy my words were inspiring and touching.
Happens every episode. At some moment, just tears.
Yeah.
Tears come.
Cheers. Tears come.
Yeah.
You good?
No, yeah. Actually, let me take a break because I think something got in my eye.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been an episode.
I thought I was like, wait, I didn't even.
No.
I was like, wait until.
I got something in my eye.
No.
Wait until we get to Frisco, then you're gonna.
You were nervous, but also like, I don't know. I think we all felt the same way. I felt like I was excited. I was more nervous against LAFC when we played them at home than this game right here, just because we hadn't beaten Frisco at all, whether home or away, and also we weren't doing really good in the field for the previous games, except for, I think it's RSL when we beat 3-0.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, like, I know this guy's right here. I know, like, this is where. But in my mind, I was like, okay, if we win this game, then it's gonna give us a confidence boost, but not to like feel overly confident, but enough to go to LA and because I know, like, I really wanted LA as much as I wanted Galaxy to win. I just wanted LA to, just to build that Clásico vibe, like just to build that something different.
Right.
And hopefully I was like, man, if LA wins, hopefully I can also go to LA. So that ended up working out.
Yeah, I do. I share this. I was kind of feeling the same way too, man, going into the game. I was a little bit more nervous about the first playoff match because it was the first playoff match and how they would work in the big stage, how Austin FC would perform.
Yeah.
Especially because RSL kind of snuck into the playoffs. So it's always, you always hear that story in these types of tournaments, like the team that gets hot at the end, it's just about getting hot at the end and hitting the right form.
Yeah.
So I was more nervous about that game, and just how it went through overtimes and PKs had me at the edge of my seat the whole game, and my nerves. But this game I was excited for because we had never beaten Dallas. We'd never beaten Frisco FC. So as a supporter, I was excited for the poetic justice of like being able to finally beat Dallas in the playoffs. And if as a supporter, I'm excited. I can't imagine how the players felt. I think the players loved the fact that we were playing Dallas and that can, get that win over our in-state rivals. So like, I was pretty calm about this game in comparison to the first playoff game.
Yeah. Now going into the game, as right before kickoff, there was just the crowd started going an hour before the game. It was just like you can hear it. The Frisco players walked out in the field just to like take pictures and recognize it. And from that moment, we let them know like what's gonna happen during the game. Some of the players were actually like dancing to our chants, and they were like like laughing around, which was cool. Like, hey, you gotta also do your part. But in our side, we were letting them know like, oh, we're ready for y'all.
Yeah, and some of them was like a little overly confident.
Yeah,
like we like you guys haven't beaten us, obviously, and then
it worked in our favor.
Yeah, it worked in our favor.
Sure. Yeah,
but I want to say, I want to say, as the fans, we got in their head a little bit.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And a lot of people probably think, oh no, like you guys, but you didn't play though. It's like, no, that's not the point.
There's
like,
an effect. There's an effect, a mental and spiritual and kind of even communication level effect.
Yeah, for sure. And we know what happened and stuff. But
yeah, so fuck it, let's talk about it. Let's get into the game a little bit.
The game. Let's go into the lineups. The same, pretty much against RSL, except for one change, and it was in the
Couple changes.
Danny Pereira
and,
instead of Valencia,
Musa
and
Gite.
Musa instead of Ruti. Yeah, that's right. That's
kind
right.
of unexpected for me to see Musa up there, but once you started seeing the game kind of roll through, it just made perfect sense.
To have someone like him, just
the way he was holding people off the ball, his physicality, his just presence up there, was perfect, and it's something that I don't think Urruti can give you.
Urruti is a very se mueve mucho y se mueve a los espacios, se mueve bien, pero para aguantar la pelota creo yo que le cuesta. Now with Musa, I think he was a little more static, but it was just to either pull a defender and let someone come through from behind, or just to hold the ball and, just make the pass al espacio. That's what I saw. But man, he was a beast. Like,
he was a beast, man.
They will come at him and he'll get him back.
They will come at him with everything. Le tiraban todo el cuerpo, and they would like bounce off of him, dude. He's like made of steel.
Yeah, dude. You saw that training he did in the preseason in Africa,
in Senegal,
on the beach.
That's crazy, dude.
So that was one thing. Right after the game started, the one thing that I appreciated was the right, simple passing they were all doing. The transitions. I think for a game like this, si empiezas bien y tranquilo, it's gonna, you can do it. And you can just, from the first, couple of touches, you can tell like Wolf had a plan for this game.
Yeah.
No one really felt nervous, which was good. You didn't see players, just like with their head down. There were other players were literally similar to how we did with LAFC. Todos enfocados y a regresar, defender. Jorge Iturralde mentioned, jugaban en bloques. You defend with 8 and you attack with 8. But they were all compressed and not giving them a room to breathe.
Yeah, definitely. Wolf, he got it right. I mean, from the lineup, like you said, putting Gite in. I love Gite. I'm a big fan of like a true number 9, like target forward, big guy. They're not quick, but just a little shoulder and boom, there. They'll open up all this space. I'm a big fan of that. So that worked in our favor. I think Frisco probably was coming with the idea that Urruti was going to play.
Yep.
So that we were going to go more for like, maybe a long ball and, speed. So I think that definitely, got to them, having Gite up there, just bodying people left and right and letting others like Drusi just play his game.
Yeah, that's one thing that Drusi got to play his game. The change, I think, one thing I noticed is just Ring not playing too much in the wing and more like in the center.
Yeah, it's almost like he dropped a little bit behind.
Yeah.
From where he usually plays, and it kind of gave the team a little bit more stability, and it gave more freedom to some of the other players playing right in front of him.
And they didn't feel as sponged up in the last 3 quarters as they would like in the previous games. Pereira's perfect in the transitions. Like the Pereira we know he can do. He
played amazing, dude. He played an amazing game.
Yeah. Finley played a good game. Nick Lima también, igual y todo. Maybe whenever Rigoni came in, because of like the system that you already have implemented to someone new, it took a little bit off beat.
Probably one of his best games, I'd say.
He played good for the game that it was going on, especially for how I feel like him coming in, it was a transitional point where Dallas had the ball, and it was like in the 60th minute. But by then, we were already 2-0, and then they scored during that, I would say, transition time. And then from that, what we ended up just seeing is just little by little that the team started like settling as they went. One thing that I forgot to mention is the first goal was from Digite in minute
minute 25.
25.
Yeah, right around there.
And
off a corner kick, he just finds it in the box and just fucking nails it. It shakes the net. Just a classic Gite finish.
Yeah, and that's one thing about his style of play is that he's just there in the right
He's
time.
just there.
It's,
Yeah.
you know, almost like, you know, he was poaching almost.
Yeah.
But that's what you want, you know.
Sometimes you need to be a poacher
sometimes you just
for a
need
game like
poacher.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was there and he just blasted. I honestly, when we were on the other side, the supporter section. It happened so fast, and then I just heard everybody screaming, and I was like, "Did we just score?"
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, I guess we did just score.
It was weird because, like you said, I was like, "Oh shit, that happened. That just happened."
Yeah.
The way it happened, and we were literally for the whole season, we were looking for plays like that, you know, to happen, because we had so many plays que no entraban, y esta de repente con la emoción, con todo lo que tenían entró. And then he actually did the run to pull a defender 3 minutes after that when Drusi just carried the ball to the right y la metió cruzadita.
Yeah, that, again, Jita, just, he doesn't need the ball. You know, just,
se movió.
Se movió, you know, hizo el movimiento. Drusi, you know, did his thing, and he just put it bottom right, or bottom, was it left? Corner?
Bottom left.
Bottom left. Yeah.
Perfect. Like, basically perfectly placed and paced shot because it's across his body, across the goal, in between defenders, and between the goalkeeper. Like, those are things that I think definitely make him elite to be able to finish that, because it's like a very, very low percentage shot.
Yeah. True MVP.
Yeah, for sure. MVP. Like, we just got to say it.
Yeah.
I was listening to the end earlier, and then they were saying, I think it's just something that, you know, like, they want Mukhtar to take it. Like, their take was, like, Mukhtar takes it. And I'm like, okay, but they made a point after that. However, he's not in the run anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't perform when it matters.
Yeah.
When it most matters.
Yeah, and then one of them was like, well, Drusi actually performed.
And
he's been performing.
He's been doing it all year, baby.
And we were like, this is what we've been telling you. You just don't pay attention to us.
Yeah, and I don't know, I don't know why, you know, all these pundits and stuff always write us off, and
it's
we keep
cool.
proving them wrong. I mean, yeah,
it's been working.
It motivates the team and stuff. But I mean, Drusi is a quality player, and the fact that when we needed him for that, like, RSL game when we were down, he said, "Chinga su madre," score the goal. Like, he just put the team on his back, and
beautiful header.
Yeah,
beautiful header to bring us back in the game.
Yeah, and just the whole game, he was just, you know,
he does it all.
Yeah,
he drops back, he creates, he scores, and he's selfless.
Yeah.
Like, how many players are there like that in the MLS? I don't think it's like a one of a kind.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and one thing we have to just continue to highlight is he's a player that makes his teammates play well. Like, he's a player that doesn't just act like an asshole whenever things are not going right. He actually encourages the players, you know, low key. You can always tell, because when he gets close to them, they don't feel like intimidated by him. They feel like, you know, okay, it's my, you know, he trusted me. And you want that from someone that's going for MVP, like, you know, race, especially. Now for like, regarding, like, say, the good, bad, and the ugly, what is something good that you guys felt that was part of the game besides the win?
And, like, regarding the game, or just,
or what is something you would keep from this game in particular?
Probably beating Frisco. I don't know. I mean, that's a hard question.
No, definitely. Like, you want to keep that team confidence.
Yeah.
The team has had that belief in themselves throughout the entire season, but it proves itself in those difficult moments, right? So, like, the whole team was playing intense from back of the line to the midfielders to the forwards. Definitely too, you know, everyone's intensity and trust in each other. You know, we were talking about their bonding outside of the field. Like, that all comes into play during moments like this. You know, other players stepping up other than Drusi. You know, Gita being in the right place at the right time. But not only that, you have Danny Pereira playing a solid match, Alex Ream playing a solid match. The defense for the entire first half clamping down Frisco FC, and I think they had one shot on target in the whole first half. To me, that was probably one of the best halves Austin FC has played. So I would keep everything in that first half that they did. I would keep that, because what I saw in the second half was kind of a lowering of the intensity, and Dallas made some changes. I think they brought Pharr in, and he was a little bit more physical, different, and it kind of helped them. So it put us in situations where we didn't look as compact in the back. Yeah. So that's something that I would kind of change.
Yeah, I think when you bring in like those quicker players, because they also brought in Pamakal, I think his name is.
The guy on the right that was like tearing it up.
Yeah,
super quick.
I think that always, I've noticed throughout the season, speed has always affected us in the back.
Yeah.
Not necessarily with Gallagher, because he's just so quick, but Lima, Gabrielson, and Cascante, they're not the fastest. So when you put speed,
kind of exposes them
and then it opens us up, leaving all those spaces for those quick, players on the opposing team to take advantage of. But I think we had it. Locked down.
Yeah, I think with Lima, it's not a thing of speed, but I think it's more of a thing of positioning. I noticed. I felt like in the times that he had a bad game, it was just like, the spaces he would go into, it was either way too high, or sometimes instead of covering inside the, like say the person that is attacking, he would come from behind or try to catch up to them.
Yeah, and I've noticed that too.
Yeah, because like say with Bell, he pretty much boxed him out.
He locked him out. Yeah,
he blocked him. So I think with him, it's just a lot of it is just positioning and trying to go way too high and do an overlap. Where by the time they're attacking us, it's hard for Ring to come and take his place or Pereira. What is something that we learned is just. I would say for me is we learn to and it goes with the key. We learn to not depend on Drusi.
Yeah.
We learn to not, every time we go through a situation where they get, everything goes south, Drusi is the one we all look to, and he's like, please pull something out of your magic. Everybody just came and did their thing and took away. I mean, as much as we want Drusi to be, the person that causes an effect, we also don't want to rely on him too much, especially for times like this where what if he has a bad day?
Yeah, what if he has
everyone's going to have a bad day.
Every game is life or death. What if his next game is a bad one? It could happen.
Exactly.
He's a human being after all. So in those moments, the team has to be able to step up like they did against Dallas in moments and continue that thrust,
Now, what is something that I would change or something that, it's bad or ugly? I think it's you got to keep your best player on the field the whole time.
What are you specifically talking about, Richie?
Like, say, the substitution of bringing in Wolf for Fagundes.
No, I get what you're saying. You don't need to. I mean, Fagundes, he can go the full 90 minutes. I get, Wolf was probably thinking more tactically and thinking of the game ahead. But if you're doing good, why mess up that flow, that chemistry,
right.
and then bring in Wolf, which I don't think we needed to bring him in because the game was already set.
I think the only thing that it probably gave him was just fresh legs.
Probably,
right.
Yeah.
But when you have a player like Wolf come in, and even Rigoni, I mean, specifically talk about Wolf, you lose experience when he comes in, especially during a time like this. He could be the freshest legs and the quickest guy, but I saw moments where he looked at a position. Going into an intense game like that is difficult enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for those games, those big rivalry games, you want to have players that know how to play those games, that are accustomed to the, because Drusi, he comes from a River Plate. So, those big rivalry games against Boca Juniors, he knows what those are like. Same with Rigoni coming from Argentina.
And Brazil.
And nothing against Wolf, but I just don't think mentally he's probably not there. He probably just is going to take it as any other game, you know, and like you said, he came in and he was out of position. A lot of the times he was almost getting into the positions where other players should have been.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, I when kind of going back to your comment on the substituting of Fagundes was not happy. He was not happy coming out. He went out the long way. He was kind of shaking his head no at the bench. he's a player that he's pretty vocal about how he feels sometimes.
Yeah, man. And that's what I like about him. Like that's why he's my favorite player in the team, because ese vato he's honest, and
Yeah, he keeps it real.
He keeps it real. I mean, hopefully Wolf can learn from this one, and when we go into LAFC, he doesn't sub out your best. I mean, because for me, if you're thinking tactically for the next game, you can think of that during the week after you win. Don't think of it at the moment of the game. These guys right here are athletes. They can last if you put them to work. And another thing is, like, we don't have another midweek game where you have to just guardártelo para la Libertadores or anything. No, you have another whole week and some until they can play, like, again. Hopefully, please, Wolf, no saques a Fago.
Yeah.
Or Drusi.
And one thing, Fago, going back to Fago, my uncle, he always tells me that, every team has that one player that is, like, they're either in touch with the fan base, or you can say, like, if you want to describe, like, oh, what is Austin like, or who is Austin, you just say Fagundes. Fagundes
es el barril, es el barrio, ¿sabes?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a representative.
Yeah, he's the
heart of Austin.
I mean, he may not get all those, like
accolades,
like Drusi does and stuff, or other players on the team, but man, he's out there, giving it his all for as long as he's, on the field. And I think Fagundes is probably my favorite player as well.
Fagundes,
yeah.
Te quiero mucho, güey. Y lo sabes. I was gonna be like, I saw him on Saturday, and inside of me, I was like, but outside, I was like, Señor, ¿cómo está? Buenas tardes. Gusto en verlo. But inside of me, I was like, otro Cuauhtémoc. Like, I would say Fagundes and Cuauhtémoc for me are like in the same level. And
in terms of in your heart.
In my heart, yeah. Messi's like a different. Messi's more like say the talent and what he gives to Barcelona, but Fago and Cuauhtémoc, they're like in something different.
It's just like they sienten los colores.
Sienten los colores y los sientes a ellos.
Yeah, saben lo que es jugar un partido como el contra Frisco.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, on looking at Frisco's squad, I was kind of expected more, but I didn't hope for it. They would do more. But Ferreira, I thought he would be a little bit more, scared, like, possess more of a offensive threat against us, and he was pretty subdued.
He was. He almost. It's like he was one of the. I've noticed when they came out to check the field out and stuff, he was one that, like, he didn't want to look to the crowd when we were, like, yelling and saying shit to them. But I just knew that mentally he wasn't in the right, headspace.
Yeah, I mean, he's a young guy, 21 years old, trying to earn his spot on the U.S. squad. Probably
it's a lot on the line.
I think he's supposed to be the starting.
Probably has a spot, but trying to have the starting spot on Team USA. So a lot of questions have been asked of him, especially towards the end of Dallas' season. And because he started out pretty hot. He had a decent season. I forget how many goals he scored, but yeah, man, he looked like he was in his head a little bit. And I don't know if it's the nerves of the playoff or the nerves of the upcoming World Cup.
I think it was us that we broke him,
or the fans.
I think so.
I think we fucked with his head. Like I just he's a talented player, but I just feel like we got to them one way or another.
Yeah. Right. We got to them before the game even started.
Like say they came in and like deep down inside them, they're like, oh shit. Like say for example, there's a player that maybe like say his reaction, like to like emotionally to something that's adverse is, like how it was for more than 90 minutes. It's detrimental for your mind. I mean, imagine like someone giving you shit for 5 minutes. I'm over here like earlier, freaking out about tickets. Now imagine a game that's important. Like, and also you all have to deal with the World Cup thing. Like,
right?
It's a lot at stake. But ni modo, así se curten.
All right, yeah, man. So, anything else to be said on this game before we move on?
I'm just glad we won.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I was next to Richie and Quesadilla and Mago. Man, I was crying. Like, when that final whistle blew,
Yeah.
I started crying like a baby. Like,
Yeah.
I was just hugging everybody around.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like it was magical, man. Like
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I spoke to my boss earlier, and then he's like, "Did you find your shirt?" And I was like, "Yeah, I had it in my bag." But I mean, just for me is getting to spend time with the people that I hang out with, that I play soccer with, and pick up, that I have beers with, just to celebrate that. Like, not just like 10 people, but like hundreds of us in there. It was perfect. Another good thing is like saldo blanco. No, from what we know is there was no violence after the game.
Yeah.
Because these games can also lead to some shit. So everything's good.
That's great, man.
In Q2, but I do want to point out that Q2 was the loudest I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only in the supporter section, but all
It's
around
all
it.
throughout.
Yeah.
No, I saw a lot of statements of people like getting
Yeah,
alerts on
my
their watches
my
about
watch,
the decibels
yeah,
being
okay.
so high.
Yeah, even for a while, like I was chanting and I couldn't hear myself.
Wow.
So then I would get even louder. In the louder I got, like I still couldn't hear myself chant.
That's
It was really loud.
One thing that I want to give props to is y'all, because for me, it's my first time being there. It's like standing on the rail for almost a whole game, but I keep switching back and forth, and I cheated because there was a seat down, so I got to get some rest. But how can y'all do it for 90 minutes? Like, I mean, your ankles must be like made of steel, because I got tired like 5 minutes before the game started. I started cramping. I was like, crap.
No.
And I drank water for it and everything, but no, like, I'm glad I wasn't playing.
Yeah, no. When I get home, my ankles are swollen. Like when I get home and I take I'm struggling to take my shoes off because my feet are just so swollen. But I think once the game starts and you're just chanting, you kind of, or at least for me, like I forget that I'm even up there and I'm just so emotionally invested in the game. It isn't until like after the game when I'm like, oh fuck, oh man, like I'm tired, I need to go home.
Yeah, because the adrenaline just kind of dies down and you start to feel everything that you just did.
Yeah.
That's tough. But man, it's totally worth it. I can imagine.
And one day we'll have Coke up there with us.
Yeah, okay, you need to
We'll
come
go
over
together,
there.
man.
Yeah, I was at the RSL game. I was at that game in the supporter section. That was badass to see that, to go to win the first playoff match. Unfortunately, I wasn't at this game. I went to Houston for my dad's birthday, but shout out to my pops, 61. He's getting there.
Dang, almost Medicare age.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, Dad, you know all the benefits that are gonna come right real quick? All the perks. Had a great time with my family, and I actually started driving back to Austin about an hour and a half before kickoff. And right when the game started, I switched with my wife. I'm like, you gotta drive. So I was watching the game on my phone, and I watched the second half at home. But oh my gosh, dude,
I would have been stressing for you, dude.
I was screaming in the car, like screaming at when we got home, screaming at the TV, like on my feet. I felt like I was there, but I know being there is like 1,000 times that.
Yeah.
And just the fact that I had to drive because I was coming in through 290, get 183 north, and I could see the stadium lights. It was like kind of.
You got the FOMO.
I was like getting a little FOMO, but I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Keep it composed.
I would have been crying, dude. I have FOMO.
No, I know you do.
And I'm like, I would have been crying. I would have not been able to sleep. I'm like, how did I miss this?
Yeah, dude. I mean, we could talk about levels of attachment and stuff. I've talked about this before, but my heart was there. I was with y'all in spirit, and I followed it. I followed every step of the game.
You know what's funny too is that when Q2 was so loud, they said it in the broadcast that the Frisco coaching staff was having trouble communicating to their players because it was so loud. So I don't know who texted Rigo, because he was down there, trying to lead some chants. Somebody texted him like, hey, they just said in the broadcast that it's so loud. He took a screenshot of that, and then he sent it on our Slack.
And everybody started
he just put it on important announcements and just like blasted it to everybody he was like, keep fucking going and stuff. And then you just see people like looking down at their watches.
You're
and
like,
stuff.
all right.
Yeah.
Hey,
And it just
Tío
kinda,
Rigo.
it just like motivated just to keep going.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are wonderful stories that I think will stay like in the history of the legacy of the playoffs.
I think so. Yeah. It's like, once I'm old and like telling my kids or we made it to our first playoffs, like, your dad was up there in the rails and, chanting and losing his voice and, but it was worth it.
Yeah, man. And beating Frisco now brings us to a semifinal in America, or in the U.S. is the final of the Western Conference. And we're going to go to L.A., and we're going to play L.A. at the Bank of California on Sunday at 2 p.m. And that's Sunday 2 p.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Central. It's a game that it's going to be tough. ¿Ya compraron sus boletos para el vuelo?
Ya, cuando acabó el partido, I went to We're Austin TV, their fan reactions. Yeah. Shout out to them. I went over there and Hernan, was asking me the questions, and I was having trouble talking because I was getting choked up just thinking of everything that had just happened. Like, I wanted to cry.
You were still in the heat of the moment.
Yeah. So then I even told them, I was like, se me hace un nudo en la garganta. No puedo, no sé cómo describir lo que pasó. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, we went through the interview, and then he was like, one last question. Are you going to be in LA? And I was like, yeah. I'm buying my flight tonight. And I did. I got to Hop Squad, and I'm there, and I just, asking people around. I was like, are you going? And everybody, and then you just see people on the phone. Yeah, I'm buying my flight right now and stuff. And I even know people bought their flight a month in advance.
Yeah.
So they were like, manifesting it. So I did it. I was like, chinga su madre. This is who cares about the funds? Like, Kevin will worry about that in the future.
Future Kevin. Kevin. Those are things for future Kevin to worry about.
It was like, it's YOLO. I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Hopefully Austin makes it to the playoffs, every season, but you just don't know
when we're gonna be back in the party.
Right.
I think it's just this moment, like this season right here, we had to go. And same, dude. I was thinking about it it took me a minute to think about it from the walk from the stadium to Hop Squad. In the Hop Squad, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell my wife I want to go to LA. But when I say I want to go to LA, that means I'm going to LA. So I get to the house, and by then I already have bought the ticket. And I was like, she's like, so do you tell me or are you going? I'm like, at this moment, I'm going. Mm-hmm. And then it was one of those things that man, I was like, I have to be there. I told myself I wasn't gonna travel anywhere in a plane until February of next year. But I'm like, this is the day that I have to go. Of course, there's some compromise. I was going to have to go on in talks and different story. But however, I'm going to LA. I got my ticket, and actually good price. Like, I got everything for like $230.
Yeah.
Round trip.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So you guys are going to be at the game. You guys are going to be part of that fucking amazing crowd there. What do y'all expect? What are your expectations, Look into your crystal ball. What do you see?
You go first, Kev.
It's definitely it's not gonna be the same as the two times that they came here, or when they came here, and then we went over there and we beat them. I don't think it's gonna be like that. It's a totally different team, LAFC. Mm-hmm. I was listening to the Moon Tower podcast on the way here. Shout out to them as well. And they were saying, it's totally different team, different players, no Gareth Bale, everybody who's playing ahead of him just
playing better than him. Yeah, at the moment.
So it's gonna be tough. I'm hoping for a win, and I want us to win, but it's gonna take a lot for us to.
Va a ser cerrado.
For sure, probably like a 1-0, even 2-1. Just like scrappy kind of win. But I hope we get it. I hope we get the win.
We have to win. Yesterday, I was actually invited to join a podcast from LA, Los de Somos LAFC. And it was cool because they had Jaime Camil before me. So it was like, oh, shit. And they were like, hey, we have 2 people there.
Pretty much the same caliber of star.
Hay un poquito más abajo él que yo. Yo soy más acá de otros rangos. Yo soy más de barro y es más fresón. And it was cool because then, I mean, we had them in the past, and the one thing that we highlighted was just the culture of football in Austin and how they can kill the vibe. Before I go into my prediction, and we actually talked about it in the previous game, is how the FOs are just limiting the growth of the culture by they're not allowing the full growth of the culture with limitations, and by that is just like instruments not being allowed in the stadium for the away teams, and limiting like flags or limiting stuff because let's say for example, Austin FC, each team has their limitations on what they can bring. Austin FC, for example, in the game against LAFC here, they couldn't bring their instruments. I don't know about banners or flags. So now the same goes for us. We can't bring instruments. The only thing we bring is our voices, a chicken, and then 3 flags.
It's petty. It's all petty, dude.
It's petty. It's bullshit.
All
And I mean,
everybody.
Before going into a little carrilla entre nosotros, we all said like, hey, like hopefully that changes, but it'll be the change from us. We have to just pressure, and we have to let them know like, hey, this shit is like you're killing the vibe, you're killing the culture by doing that for a home game. I mean, for an away team, and also for the home teams. I mean, some teams as they grow, they're gonna start putting a lot more limitations, which I don't agree with. So going into that, we're not gonna be able to bring instruments and only flags. So we get into the predictions, and I said we're gonna win 2-1, and the reason why we're gonna win 2-1 is 1, we're gonna go to the final, and 2 is because my beard is on the line. I made a bet against the el vato de LAFC, Julio, el Chiva Mayor. So we made a bet, and that bet it's gonna be paid off after the game in the parking lot. So hopefully is
hopefully, yeah.
We get it, and
awesome.
I hope. So, like, I'm gonna bring my camera, and I'm gonna have someone record it, and hopefully Austin TV is there too, and hopefully the beard. I'm gonna keep my beard, and he's gonna lose his beard. But I say we're gonna win 2-1, last minute goal. But
last minute goal.
Last minute, Drusi is gonna come through again. The other one, I'm gonna say Urruti's still gonna come in and score his goal, and then they're gonna come and attack. Vela or Chichorango they're gonna score to tie it, but then we're gonna win 2-1. But it's gonna be like cerrado hasta el último.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a very, very close one too. Very fought out. I think these teams these are the best teams. This is exactly who should be in the Western Conference Final. And man, I'm up there. I think there's going to be a lot of goals. I think it's going to be a 3-2.
3-2.
Austin's taking it.
Okay.
Austin's taking it.
Hat trick. Drusi hat trick.
Yo me quito.
That would be on cloud 9, dude. Like,
yo me quito lo que traiga. Just,
he'll get a brace.
I'll get a brace for sure. Yeah, dude.
Show.
Yeah, man. We're going to LA. It's official. It's going to be on Sunday at 2 p.m. Everyone that's going to travel to the game, safe travels. One thing that the guys from Somos LAFC, which these guys are founded, the 3252, they said it in the Facebook live. I mean, an Instagram live. They said, Raza, if you see someone from Austin, shake their hand and say hi. Don't start shit. Keep
great.
it clean. Just as we they treated us well over there. Let's do the same in the supporter section. The OFO, we can, it is what it is. But between like us and supporters, we're gonna, before the game and after the game, shake hands. But during the game, nos lamentamos. And I was like, a huevo, cabrones. So hey, shout out to Somos LAFC. El dominguito nos vemos, pinche Víctor. Ahí en julio, ahí ya tengo una Ziploc bag para tu barbita. So
you're gonna save it forever. What are you gonna do with those hairs?
We'll find out.
Let me put in some chili, make him eat it.
A huevo. Whatever's gonna happen is all gonna work out, and we're gonna win.
I'd rather this be happening than not happening.
Exactly.
Imagine if it wasn't.
yeah, then you would just be like bored at home, not doing anything, scratching my balls like I would normally do.
Exactly.
Now going to the closing, man. This one hurts. Nos sacó el Toluca.
Toluca, for those who don't know, in the Liga MX semifinals played this weekend. America lost against Toluca at home in the Azteca Stadium, 2-1.
No, it's 1-1.
No, it was 2-1.
Oh, we lost. Ay, güey, ni me di cuenta. Tanto dolió.
3-2 el global.
3-2 el global, but the game was, I think, 2-1. I don't know.
Yeah, because it was 1-1.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, so we lost 2-1 away, and then we tied 1-1.
1-1.
So,
right.
1 más 1, 2.
Yes.
Y 2 más 1, 3.
3-2 in the global. Man, dude, I watched that game with my dad. And he watches his games now as a businessman because he has a soccer store. He's had a soccer store for years now. So every time America is in the Liguilla, he's just like, ahora sí voy a vender camisas de la América. Ya sabes cómo son. And it's funny because at the store they ask him, ¿A quién le vas? ¿A quién le vas? He's like, oh, I don't go for anyone. I'm a businessman. Because he's like, I'm gonna keep it straight up neutral here.
Yeah.
And even now when he watches games, he's like a neutral. He's like, well, actually, he goes for the team that's in the best business interest. And in that case, it was America. And in the other semifinal, it was Monterrey.
Yeah.
Pachuca and Toluca kind of being smaller markets. But tough loss, man. I think America had the team to win.
Dude,
they should have won.
If there's one that I said we should have won, was this one.
Yep.
And one thing that I have is I was pretty tough on Austin FC when we were going, in the drought. But it's just as I am tough with Austin FC, that's just a little bit of how tough I am in America. And with America, I'm a monster. Yo digo de que lo odia más tiene que sentirse.
Yeah, no, and I get that too. And sometimes I get, like, my uncle will criticize me, like, ¿por qué le echas más a Rayados que a Austin FC? Austin FC is a new team.
Yeah.
Rayados has been there since 1945. Mm-hmm. And we are known for always qualifying into the Liguillas. Mm-hmm. And I think it's Rayados, America, and Tigres are the most expensive clubs in Latin America. Mm-hmm. So, like, with the players that we have, we should not be missing out on the Liguilla. We should be, tearing apart the team that's in front of us. That's why I get really, like, I go harder on them because this should not be expected of you guys.
Any season where you don't get to the final, win the championship is a disappointment. Right. When you have a team of that caliber, of that much salary base, and like the players that play in those teams are some of the best in all the Americas.
Yeah, I mean Rayados has almost, if I want to say, most of the Mexican national team right now. Like most of the players,
a good chunk.
I think so. Funes Mori, Romo, Gallardo,
Cesar Montes,
Héctor Moreno. So like almost all of the most of the players that are going. I mean, most of them are going to the World Cup. But same with America. Like I get what you're saying though.
I'm like
you have to be hard.
I saw it and I'm like, I can't believe it. We had we were like super líderes, but that just shows how much like the super leader thing really doesn't matter in Mexico.
It's a curse.
It's a curse. It's a curse.
And hopefully it's a curse for LAFC over here.
También.
Hopefully
that one, I hope it's a curse.
Or for there is, I believe, the team that has won the Supporters Shield hasn't won the MLS Cup. If I'm correct, y'all correct me if I'm wrong.
Someone will correct you.
We're in Austin. We'll for sure, like, you say something wrong, you put on or in, and te hacen cagada.
A fellow gooner by the name of Chris Rubio will surely correct you.
Yeah, probably. So
shout out Chris Rubio. I love you guys.
Going back to the Liguilla, it wasn't that much of a deficit. But compared to
that was a bigger hole. That was a bigger hole that Monterrey was in.
Yeah, so 5-2, losing that first leg.
Yeah.
But Funes Mori could have tied. When
it was
3-2, Funes Mori could have tied. We got a PK.
Yeah.
and he could have tied it. It would have been 3-3.
Yeah.
And then he misses it, and just a huge momentum shift. It just
Anytime a team misses a PK, it can obviously be a goal for you.
Yeah.
But missing it is so much heavier, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so heavy when
and
you miss
then
a PK.
especially a player like Funes Mori who gets criticized because he wasn't born in Mexico.
He's nationalized.
He was nationalized.
Nacionalizado. Mexicano.
So, World Cup's right around the corner. Fallas el penal. All these pundits are like, no, porque va,
he needs to get cut.
Yeah, he needs to get cut. Porque va a la selección. Y blah, blah, blah. You know.
Do you think he should be in la selección?
Personally, no. Honestly, no.
Who would you rather have?
I would rather have Martin. Shout out to America. Santi Jimenez. And Raúl Jimenez.
Mm-hmm.
But even Raúl Jimenez, I don't think he's where he's at.
He's hurt.
He's taken a big step back in his career, unfortunately.
Both Funes Mori and Jimenez, unfortunately, their form dipped.
Yeah.
And
at the worst of times.
Yeah. But they are favored by Tata Martino. Therefore, Jimenez is going to go, Raúl Jimenez, and Funes Mori is going to go. And I think Henry Martin is also going to be. Now, I don't know who's going to start.
Right.
I think Henry has a chance because of the goals he scored.
Yeah, he's hot.
That's one thing. Pero a ver qué. El Tata nos sorprende. Chance ese Chicharito venga. There might be surprises. That's what he said.
No, man.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not gonna keep my hopes up for any surprises. I hope the selección surprises all of us because for many of us, I don't think have large expectations about this World Cup. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, Kevin, but how do you feel about the World Cup?
No, I don't have high expectations for La Selección. I'm gonna support.
Of course.
Almost yeah, if Funes Mori goes, I'm going to support him. Of course. Whoever's there.
Anybody that's putting on the jersey,
you have to get behind. Support him.
Yeah, I'm going to support them. Just like I do in every World Cup. I do get shit because I was born in the U.S. and they're like, why don't you root for the U.S.? I'm like.
From Los Primos?
Yeah. No, not even that. Just like friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, because my roots are, Mexicano. Soy Mexicano. So I'm going to root for
And it's what you feel.
Yeah. But, one, there's just so much, backlash with the hosting nation.
Definitely.
That's another.
We're actually going to touch on that.
Jumping into.
Netflix is dropping FIFA Uncovered on 11/9, 11 days before the World Cup. It's going to be a Netflix special. I'm not sure if it's a miniseries or just a documentary, but we've all heard about the backdrop of this World Cup.
What if they do like a mini series of 11 episodes and the last episode drops the day the World Cup starts?
With the way marketing teams work, I wouldn't doubt that would be a scheme. That would be a scheme or whatever. But it's going to go deep into FIFA and like the initial origins of it versus to how corrupt it's gotten. To the point where many journalists who cover it say that it's the most corrupt thing that they've ever seen, more corrupt than like local governments and other governments situations. But we all know some of the atrocities over there, some of the horrible conditions for the workers, some of the human rights issues that go on, and it's just kind of weird because you see that the World Cup has always been like this big inclusive party,
right? Where
you're meant to celebrate different cultures, but you have to do that, but also respect every single law, and respect the culture of Qatar, Qatar,
which is almost like, well, then why am I here?
Why are we here?
Why are we here?
Why are we here?
It could have been like, I don't know, somewhere else,
but not. And also the fact that it's not in the summer.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
It's the worst part too. And then like all these other leagues are gonna, the European leagues are gonna be, put on hold.
They're all fucked, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna change.
And like for example,
trajectory.
Yeah, that's why MLS started so early on in the year so they could finish before. Same with Liga MX, and I don't like that because then you get.
It was weird timings. Like Liga MX empezó en. Like early, like this, apertura empezó early July. Maybe like July 7th is the first game. But,
we'll see. And then another thing too is like I feel like we're not gonna get the best from the players. Like they're not gonna give it their 100% because as soon as they're done with the World Cup, they have to go straight into playing again for their clubs, and then they're probably gonna hold off on trying not to get injured at the World Cup. So I feel like we're not gonna get 100% from all those players, which is it's gonna really suck. That's why I feel like in the summer, they give it their all, and then they have a month to like recover and start their leagues. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know if players will be more cognizant of the rest of the season or the rest of the champions or whatever they're fighting, because I think once the ball starts rolling and the teams start playing and the tournament like really gets rolling, like everyone's gonna forget. Even people like me who are kind of like, this is kind of a questionable place to have a World Cup. When it starts, I'm gonna be watching it. Yeah. And I think the players is gonna be the same thing. They're just gonna go 100% into it. What I do think it'll affect is like, what happens when you get hurt, when you come back not at 100%, have those lingering injuries or knocks that end up having an effect on different squads throughout the world. Yeah, I mean it's a crappy situation, man. All around is a crappy situation, but we gotta make the best out of it. It's not gonna change.
There was a knock that had an effect on my squad. My wife. My wife's name is Knock. That's why.
Hey, I know you said you don't like kids and you're not ready to have kids, but your dad jokes are fucking ready to have kids, bro.
I love a dad joke, though. I love a good dad joke.
Ram Sizzle has a shitload of those. But but good stuff, guys. I mean, any other feelings on the World Cup, or y'all want to go on to something else?
Nah, let's just go into the early voting. It's runs from 10/24, October 24th through November 4th. You can cast your ballot at any polling location in your home county. Make your voice heard, and let's get Beto in that thing. And hopefully, Beto, if you get in there, you gotta do some shit, man. Like, talk to your boy Biden. Pasan ya daca ya, no sacan güeyes. That's all I might have,
Well said, Richie. Yeah, like voting always reminds me of my dad because he's Mexicano, but he got his citizenship, I want to say, in the year 2000, and as soon as he got that thing, that man was voting, and he takes voting very seriously.
Yeah.
So like when he votes, he early votes all the time, and he sends me a little sticker, like with the yo vote, and he's like, selfie, like the dad selfie that's like right here.
Oh, like really low.
And it's like, yo vote. And he's like shaming all of us because we haven't voted yet. So kudos to him. And everybody get out there, make your voices heard, get informed on the issues with your local, state governments, and go vote. If you have that right, that privilege, use it.
Keep going.
Yes, sir. So lastly, we did want to highlight a huge project within the supporters groups that was kind of has a very special place in our heart. Pasión Verde is now available on various platforms. I think this is something that truly captures what that first season was like, what it was for a team to form, for a community to form something as special as it is now with Los Verdes, La Murga, Anthem, everybody that takes part in this got their voices heard and created a little bit of that tapestry of the story of what the Austin FC fan groups is. Have you had a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I actually went to the premiere of it early on in the year. This year, I believe I had. Oh man, it feels like it's been forever. I don't know. It's like I think back to February at that first game against who did we play?
Was it Amistoso?
No. That one, and then it was
at the pitch.
Yeah, that's where they had it. No, but I was just saying, I'm just thinking back to like season, that first game where it was chilly. It was in February. It was cold and rainy.
Contra Cincinnati.
Yeah, contra Cincinnati. But yeah, I saw it's really good. I really liked it. And as I was watching it, I was like, it's crazy to think that those people that are in that documentary, I didn't know them. Like, a year or two ago, and now
there's some of your best buddies.
some of my best buddies. We
That's
share rooms at away days, beers and at pickup and stuff like that. Right. So I really like it. I highly recommend it. I'd watch it, even if you don't know soccer or anything. It just shows you like the camaraderie and like how communities come together and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Javi. Shout out to Elias, Duke, Jimbo, Rigo, for putting that together, and also for allowing me to join the production team in the middle of the stages. That was pretty cool. And I hope everyone takes something from it, because it truly represents who we are, even though there's a lot of stuff that has happened. It represents the goodness of our supporter groups. And I think that's all we have for today, man. It's been an episode. It's been an adventure today.
It's all right, man. I'm gonna bring us home. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to us. Otra por favor. This has been another wonderful episode. Another segment of our fan analysis. Like we said earlier, if you're interested in sharing your perspectives and thoughts, fill out the form in our Otra por favor link that we're gonna share with this episode. We'd love to have y'all. This is an open space. We love featuring different voices, different fresh perspectives, but more importantly, it goes to why we do it. We do it because we love creating a dialogue and getting to know people's stories and using our platform to have these conversations and celebrate what makes Austin FC special. So thank you for listening. Follow us on all platforms, on Instagram at Otra X Favor. That's all I got, man.
Kevin, thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
And I appreciate the patience.
It happens. But thank you for having me. Like I said, if y'all want to have me again,
of course.
Oh, hell yeah, we have to.
Best of luck to your recovery, man. I want to see that wrist in full form, and I want to take some shots against you and see how you can fly.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. So, all right, man. That's cool.
Se cuidan, se portan bien. Adiós y arriba la América.
Here we go.